That's true, and I don't believe in sin.
Yeah, there you go. So,
as a concept.
Yeah.
And it certainly doesn't separate me from God, since I don't know whether there is one.
okay, so I can break it down if you want, like with morality, but I'm assuming you're most likely a liberal.
Well, again, liberal with respect to what?
With regards to morality.
Morality. Well, I was curious more about your views on Wahhabism and Salafism.
But that's what I'm saying. If I know your moral framework, then
It should be independent of where I am.
not necessarily.
My question is, without a specific comment.
Can I just answer that, please? Yeah. So, when you say, what do you think about Salafism? If I say good or bad, if you're an agnostic who believes in a liberal framework, both words are meaningless to you. You can't tell me if something is right or wrong. You can't tell me if something's good or bad objectively.
Well, you can describe them to me, but
know what I'm
without.
You need law structure, and you need revelation.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I asked that question. I wasn't trying to divert.
Okay.
100%.
But you can describe, as you understand it,
I can, but I'd rather
Salafism-
save time, and I don't want to build an argument based on morality, which is predicated on Islam, and then you say, yeah, but I don't accept that morality.
No, I'm not. That's immaterial to me.
Yeah. Well, I've already answered
I'm more
that.
interested in terms of current events.
Yeah. There's good Salafis, there's bad Salafis.
ISIS, what they do with their actions against other Muslim governments,
ISIS,
Western governments.
Yeah, that's a good point, but it's a mistake. ISIS don't declare themselves to be Salafis. ISIS are Khawarij. That's a different sect. And majority of the Muslims are, of the opinion that they're not mainstream, the Khawarij. That's why their actions are not non-mainstream either. And that's why you see them attacking Muslims more than non-Muslims.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It's also the different
So
sects.
Khawarij, now that's a new term for me. I've never heard it before until today. I'm familiar with Salafi and Wahhabi, and
That's because those terms tend to get used a lot in the media, yeah.
yes, that's where I pick them up.
Yeah. So what's
Khawarij, what is Khawarij?
Well, Khawarij is you can see the embodiment of Khawarij in ISIS, in the ISIS creed, as you were, and that's why there is.
Does it come from
They're coming
Egypt?
at loggerheads.
Does the roots come from Egypt or Saudi Arabia?
I don't know too much about Khawarij in terms of their roots, but I do know in terms of their beliefs, they're not mainstream. They don't claim to be mainstream, and neither are the acts mainstream either. They divert a lot from mainstream Islam.
Don't go away.
Sorry, so I got ADD, so my attention's.
Oh, you got ADD?
Yeah, ADD, ADHD. I focus a lot on.
It's good you told me, then obviously I'll bear that in mind.
No, I've debated Hamza before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Baha'i faith and
nice.
Islam.
How was that?
It was interesting.
Nice.
I definitely learned a lot, and I went away and studied a lot as well. It was a humbling
That's
experience.
awesome, bro.
And so on.
That's
but
awesome.
It's at the end of the day, with the Baha'i faith, it's about the concept, about that religion in its essence is one and the same, and that throughout time God has been sending messengers to guide humanity back to God throughout time. The founder of the Baha'i faith we believe to be Baha'u'llah, and we believe not just Baha'u'llah, but the Bab and Baha'u'llah, we believe them to be the promised one of all ages.
Do you believe he's a prophet?
I do not believe he's a prophet. I believe he is a Rasul.
He is a what?
I believe that Baha'u'llah, who is the founder of the Baha'i faith,
He's the latest prophet.
I believe him to be not just a prophet, or not a prophet actually, but I believe him to be a Rasul, which in my opinion, because I know what verse you're going to go to straight away, Khatan Nabiyin. Muhammad is not the father of anyone amongst you. He is a messenger of God and the seal of the prophets. We believe to be Baha'u'llah to be a Rasul, and we believe that there's a clear distinction between Rasul and Nabi.
We believe that as well, by the way.
Yes, I believe that, definitely. And I believe that Baha'u'llah
So how would you define Rasul?
So,
I think that's what you wanted to know as well, isn't it?
Well, I find this interesting.
What is Rasul, yeah?
So we have these two words, Nabi and Rasul, right? First of all, I think it's quite important to define the meaning of this Khatan Nabiyin. why did Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, as Baha'is, we revere and we respect and love as well. So he said, I am not the father of anyone amongst you, I'm messenger of God and the seal of the prophets. Right? So as you know, in Islam, that Nabi means prophet. So somebody like Aaron, Ezekiel, Joshua, people that guide people back to God. We believe that Rasul has the same functionality as a Nabi, but more importantly, they bring a revelation, but more importantly, a book. And we believe throughout times, or even in Islam and the Quran, it says that God has sent messengers to every nation. And so as Baha'is, we believe that God throughout time has been sending these messengers of God, or shall we say manifestations of God, that basically we do not believe that messengers of God are God. We believe them to be clear reflections of God.
So what's his name? Baha'u'llah?
Baha'u'llah.
So Baha'u'llah, did he come with a book?
Came with a book, yes.
He came with a book.
Yes.
Do you think it's a part of the Quran or it's an addition to the Quran?
I believe it's a completely new revelation altogether. I think the Adamic cycle has finished with the coming of the Baha'u'llah. We believe Baha'u'llah to be Isa, and we believe the Bab to be the Mahdi.
Okay.
And
Who do you believe is the Mahdi?
the Bab.
The Bab.
The Bab and Baha'u'llah.
Who's Bab?
The Bab. So the Bab came in the 1800s in Iran, and he was a Zayd, and so he wore green to represent that he came from the direct lineage of Prophet Muhammad. And through not just Islam, but all religions are waiting for a promised one.
Okay, no worries. So he came with a book.
Yes.
He came with new laws.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say you read? Sorry, what's that book called?
The Akdas, Kitabi Akdas.
Kitabi Akdas.
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that revealed?
It was revealed in Iran in the 1800s.
Akdas, yeah?
Yeah, Akdas.
Okay. Would you say you read the Akdas more or the Quran more?
I say I read the Akdas more and more. See, Baha'u'llah wrote 100 volumes. So he brought, as Baha'i, we brought a new revelation. So he's brought not just teachings, but a whole design to unify mankind, as Baha'u'llah says, into one universal cause and one common faith. So,
Take it.
One universal cause and one common faith. That this is the time and the age where the whole of humanity can unite as one human family.
Sorry, is your name Kaleem or Kareem?
Kaleem.
Kaleem. It's a nice name. My friend used to be called Kaleem as well.
It's because I talk too much about ADD. So.
No, it's good. It's good you told me. Now I can accommodate for that. Okay, so there was a book that was revealed. You believe that book has. So if something is in the Quran and something is in the Akdas, would you take something in the Akdas over the Quran?
I would, because again, I believe that Baha'u'llah is the promised one of all ages. I believe he is the one foretold in all revelations, not just the Abrahamic line, but also within Hinduism and Buddhism as well. The fifth Buddha, the return of Krishna, in all, even the great ones.
Okay, I'm finding this incredibly fascinating, to be honest. So how many times a day do you pray? Like tell me about your worships and stuff like that.
No problem. So there are 3 obligatory prayers. There's
3?
Yeah.
Really?
3.
Oh, when?
So there's a short, there's a medium, and there's a long one. I usually say the short one, but I try to say the long one as possible. We have, same as Islam.
So you've got 3?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just so curious.
No worries.
So there's 3 and you only do 2?
I only do 1.
Oh, you only do 1?
Out of the 3. Yeah.
Is that personal reasons or?
You can choose.
No way, really?
Yeah, you can choose. I can say the short one for you if you want to.
So there's 3 prayers and you get to pick whichever one you want to pick?
Yeah, just one we want. But the long one is when the sun goes. The short one you can't say when the sun goes down. But the long one you can say whatever time, and the same with the medium one as well. But I usually, if I'm very, very busy, I usually say the short one. Again, like in Islam, you wash your hands, you wash your face, you pray to God, and you say your obligatory prayer. So there's that.
Do you guys go to the Kaaba for Hajj?
No, we go to Haifa, which
Let me guess, Iran.
No. North Palestine. Israel.
Really?
Yeah. North
In Israel?
In Israel. Yeah. North Israel is where the.
What do you think about what's going on
I believe there's.
with regards to the Palestinians?
Sure. This is a good question. I believe that Baha'u'llah has become a spawn of all ages. And the reason why I see the occupation of the Jews in Israel is because they occupy because they believe if they do that, they can call upon the promised one.
No, it doesn't matter why they do it. Do you believe it's good what's going on? Do you think it's bad?
I believe any sort of persecution is bad.
Okay.
You know, I believe whether that's people being persecuted for their faith, you know, the Baha'is are persecuted in Iran quite viciously. Sorry. You know, the same with the Uyghurs, that's wrong. The Rohingyas, any sort of persecution where people are being killed for their belief is totally wrong, you know?
Okay. That was really fascinating, and thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
So, Kaleem,
Yes.
now that I've done a bit of reconnaissance, and I know, so you're saying there's 3 prayers, and from those 3 prayers, there's 1 prayer, yeah?
You can choose. Yeah, but it's not just that. As Baha'is, Baha'u'llah has also said that we must read the prayers in the morning and read the writings as well, in the morning and evening. So we read prayers and writings in the morning and evening. You're right.
Brother, is it okay if we go there? If we okay, we're just going to move there, yeah? You can just move the cameras. You get to lean as well, you know what I'm saying?
Wales. I'm going back
oh my God.
Hamza's from Cumbrae, right? I think he's from Wales as well.
Bro, can you just bring the others as well? They're going to get upset with me, yeah. All right, bro, yeah, but that's... Oh, wait. You said Hamza's coming down with you?
No. I've debated with Hamza before. I know I'm from Wales. So I'm traveling back to Wales tonight, so I'm passing through, but I've debated Hamza before, so...
Nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience.
So that's with regards to the prayers. You got 1 prayer, and you get to pick that prayer.
Yeah.
Obligatory charity.
Yeah.
Do you have a concept of obligatory charity?
Of course, we have the fund in terms of one aspect of what the Baha'is are involved with is the concept of community building. So we go out to the local communities and we do projects with Hindus, Muslims, Christians.
Projects are brilliant.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to pin down is, do you have a yearly obligatory charity that you have to pay that gets spread to other Muslims?
Sure. Yes, we have a fund. One of the laws in the Baha'i faith is hukuk, which is basically you have to pay like a percentage of your wages.
Is this a must?
It's a must. It's a law.
Hey, what happens if you don't do it?
Well, there's no clergy in the Baha'i faith, and you
What do you mean?
Something. So in Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, there's priests, right? Rabbis.
You said Islam, Christianity, and Judaism.
Yeah.
But initially you claimed that you're part of Islam anyway.
We say that we believe as Baha'is, you know how Christianity came out of Judaism? As Baha'is,
Kaleem, I'm not gonna take offense of what you're saying. As you're seeing, I'm just fascinated. I haven't spoken to a Baha'i. So the thing is, what is a bit like what grinds my gears is when somebody says one thing and then like 10 minutes later, it was different.
Sure. Okay, sorry for that.
Yeah.
I'll just clarify it for you as well. Is that
So do you think that you're part of Islam, or do you think that you're a separate kind of religion?
We believe that we are separate. That the coming of Baha'u'llah has brought a new religion, but we don't like saying the word religion because we believe actually that all religion in its essence is one and the same. We believe that they are like chapters in the one same book. And that the only difference between all these religions, even Hinduism and Islam and Buddhism and Christianity, is the time and the age in which they come.
Okay, so that's good. You gave me an honest answer, which you believe is a different religion. Okay, excellent. So we've got past that. In terms of obligatory charity, when I discussed that, you said, we don't have a clergy. Just expand on that.
Sure. So we don't have any priests apart from the covenant of Baha'u'llah. And then after Baha'u'llah, there's somebody called Abdul Baha, who's placed at the center of the company. It is a specific lineage. But as Baha'is, there's no figurehead in which we follow. But there's hierarchy of institutions. So
you don't follow anyone, yeah?
We follow something called the Universal House of Justice.
So you don't follow any one, like person?
No, not any one type of people.
Oh, okay.
But we follow an institution of people. We believe in something called the Universal House of Justice. We believe them to have infallibility.
Oh, really? Who are these people?
As an institution. But individually, they are just normal.
Oh, okay, so it's like a consultation.
Yes, in one sense.
How many people are there in this?
9 people. 9 people.
Are they alive?
They're alive, yeah. And
No way.
They are elected through a democratic process in which the national spiritual assemblies around the world come together to the World Centre
No way.
in Haifa, and they elect the Universal House of Justice, which is the supreme governing body for the Baha'is around the world.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
So you're saying alone, they're fallible.
Yeah, alone
Bring them in that group,
Yeah,
they become infallible.
they become infallible, yeah.
How does that work?
Infallibility. Do you know, you're from a Sunni background, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was going to talk about the Shia line, but not going to talk about it. Yeah, so as Baha'is, we believe that, like the messengers of God have infallibility, from God.
But we don't believe that when they become messenger, that's when they become infallible.
But let me ask you a question.
We believe they're created and they're born,
Yeah.
That Allah's created them in a certain way,
Sure, but
special.
Yes, 100%. That's the question I was going to ask you. Do you believe that Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him?
But we're talking about, bear in mind, infallibility and fallibility, yeah?
Sure.
So you're, 9 guys or 7 guys?
9.
9 individuals.
Yeah.
Can they be men, female, or?
Men at the
Only
moment.
men, yeah?
Yeah, only men at the moment. This is
At
a
the
little
moment?
bit, no, only men.
You said at the moment.
This is a bit of a controversy because when people look at the Baha'is, they say, we talk about the concept of unity and diversity and stuff. But there is this law. The son of Baha'u'llah said that this will be clear as the noonday sun in the future. This is something, as Baha'i, I struggle with, because in the Baha'i teachings, it talks about one of the principles of the Baha'i teachings is the equality of men and women. Baha'u'llah says that men and women are like 2 wings on one bird. But yeah, there are certain rules that I do struggle with, but as a practicing Baha'i, I respect it, so I follow it, So yeah.
When you say you struggle with it, does that mean you disagree with it?
A little bit, but I would say that because I am...
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? Good? MashaAllah, you look at daps. Come on. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? You good? MashaAllah. Come on. South, all day, every day. Come on. I'm just speaking to... Yeah, MashaAllah. I'll speak to you later. I'm just speaking to the brother, yeah?
So
Walaikum salam, walaikum salam.
There's
Bruv, appreciate it, man. Come on. Come on. Take care, my bro.
Allah's sake, yeah?
Inshallah.
So yeah, there are certain laws.
So you disagree with that? Yeah.
I wouldn't say I disagree with it.
You said a little bit.
I would say it's challenging to because, but as somebody who believes in Baha'u'llah, who believes in the teachings of the Baha'i faith, I follow it, and I accept it.
Fair dues, fair dues. But just to pin this point down, so you're saying that 9 people that are fallible, they make mistakes, they're human beings living in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Like, watching stuff on TV, watching inappropriate things, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Then they're part of this group. What is it that makes the infallible fallible? Sorry, fallible, infallible.
Fallible, infallible. Well, we believe that this institution is a complete unique institution that has never been had before in terms of now the aspect of an individual. We're not following an individual anymore, that we're actually following an institution. So in this aspect that this is completely unique in one sense, and that each person does not have the power to say, follow me, but together they have infallibility. It's because...
you can come here if you want.
Yeah, sorry.
You might get tired because I know you have to go away as well.
Yeah, no worries. So, in its essence, what I'm trying to say is that we listen to the House of Justice. I get
that. Wicked.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, how does a fallible become infallible? How does that work? For example, if you were to ask me, typically in Islam, things are comprehensible. Majority of the things are comprehensible.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to the people that we're following, especially when it comes to creedal matters, there's no discrepancy in creedal matters because, hey, if you believe Jannah, if you don't believe Jahannam, because the consequence is so dire, therefore creedal matters need to be clear. That's why I'm saying, when it comes to a fallible to an infallible, what's the logical way that a person simply by making a covenant becomes infallible? How does that work?
see that through revelation. So as we as Baha'is believe, we believe in Baha'u'llah. He has brought a revelation, a new revelation, and that we understand. So what he says in his guidance, in his books, in his writings, as Baha'is we follow to be completely from God. That's when it becomes infallible, through the teachings of the messengers and manifestations of God.
So those 9 people, what makes them infallible is reading the book?
It is through the teachings of Baha'u'llah and through the teachings of the guidance of not just Baha'u'llah, but the Bab and Baha'u'llah. Because before Baha'i faith was established, there was Babiism, and the Babis, which was the followers of the Bab.
Barbies.
Yeah, the Babiism.
I don't want to offend you,
Yeah,
but
know,
you know
I
I'm
know,
thinking,
bro,
yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Barbie. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I'm a beatboxer. I
Come
do a
on.
lot of stuff like in London and just around
God.
doing stuff like that.
Oh,
You want
brilliant.
some entertainment for your camera? I'll drop some beatboxing in it. So yeah, man, through revelation, through that infallibility through God, you know, like you understand the Quran. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
You understand the Quran to be infallible, right?
Yes.
So that revelation came through Prophet Muhammad and the mediator, and then
Yes.
the Quran was made. So you believe that it's to be infallible?
For all time, pre
Sure.
and post.
Sure. So we believe that also within the teachings of Baha'u'llah as well, exactly the same. So this structure and this institution.
No, but do you though? Because Kaleem, you said
Yeah.
yourself, those 9 individuals,
Yeah.
they start off as fallible.
Sure.
Then they
start as
become
fallible.
infallible.
As an institution, they become infallible.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying as Baha'is. When they get together,
But surely the institution is made up of the individuals, isn't it?
100%. You are
Like
correct.
I am made of the organs.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
one of my organs is weak,
Right,
not
right.
working,
The rest of the body doesn't work. Exactly right. But this is a teaching from Baha'u'llah. So this is a unique station throughout history. where the
Kaleem,
universe
no
has
worries. We know that's the teaching.
Yeah.
We're gonna speak on the level.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on the level, if something makes sense, we say it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you can say, look,
Sure.
it doesn't make sense to me.
Sure. Now,
But
can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
Do you believe that the Mahdi and Isa will return?
Yes.
How will it return? How will they return? And do you believe that they are going to return in a literal way, in terms of like, you know, like Christians believe that Christ will come through the sky, for example. Do you believe in this literal interpretation of the Mahdi and Isa returning, or do you believe that it's a spiritual one? Let me just ask you that question.
We believe it will be a physical return.
Okay, sure.
But in order to even entertain these tertiary topics, first we need to iron out the fundamentals and the creed. That's why I'm so fascinated in your book, your founder, and the institution of 9 people and how it kind of works. Because once we know that, then we move on to, okay, what are the teachings and what comes secondary and tertiary to that. So coming back originally to that point, when I gave the analogy about the human body, so you have these 9 individuals that come together. Them coming together means that they become infallible. Just make that make sense to me.
So basically, Baha'u'llah has created a structure, has created this unique covenant, and is inviting people all from all backgrounds to come together to build it. There are institutions on a local, on a national, and then that international level. And it's a democratic process of electing people onto these institutions. So Baha'u'llah says, for example, in this day and age,
I get that, and that's brilliant.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to pin it down to how does a person that's fallible become infallible? A process of election does not change a person's misgivings of the past. Do you see? For example, yourself. For example, yourself, Kaleem. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to embarrass you on camera and this and that, but generally people have seen pornography, whether it's at school or whatnot. They've lied, they've stolen stuff, they've done madness. Now, as a follower of Baha'u'llah, let's just say you get voted in, and you're one of those 9 people that get elected. Now suddenly, you part of that shura or that committee, there are 8 other people like yourself. So there's 9 Kaleems there. And suddenly now, you have become infallible. Why? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying because of the teachings, because of you being voted, because this is why. This happened last time as well.
It's all good, broski. You get some characters.
It's a mad one, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, that's why I come down and try and implement mad.
No, but we stood here last time, and then that's what happened last time. It's a mad one.
What's he represent?
God knows, bro. God knows. But yeah. So
Yeah, you're trying to understand about the infallibility.
yeah. No, so look, there has to be logically, for example, a prophet who's committed sins and doing madness. Yeah, Allah forbid. I'm saying an individual, and then he becomes a prophet. And then he becomes a prophet. People are gonna struggle. Yeah, they're gonna struggle. They're gonna say, "You used to lie, you used to cheat." That's why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, even before Islam, he was known as Sadiqul Amin. Yeah, the trustworthy, the truthful. And one of the examples that he gave when he came on the mountain was, "Look, have you known me to tell a lie to the nearest meaning?" He said, "No, of course not." So there has to be a degree of, preservation.
Sure.
So that's what I'm trying to understand. Now that I can understand. In Islam, if somebody said, "Oh, your prophet did this in the past," I'll say, "Yeah, of course that's true." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, but you also have to understand the context of the time. I hate it when people say that. They try to equate the time of Christ with the time of Muhammad. May peace be upon them both. You can't do that because they're completely two different times. People at the time of Christ, people believed in the one God. They came from settlements and they had judiciaries and courts, and the time of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, didn't have that. So what are you going to do if somebody raped your daughter?
Right.
So so I can totally understand that. In terms of going back to the infallible part, we understand that messengers and manifestations, we call them manifestations of God. Messengers of God are infallible. All the way to Adam, they are infallible. They have direct, communication through the Most High, and then they reveal to the people. So we understand that. In this day and age, we as Baha'is, we believe Baha'u'llah has created a specific covenant for not just the Baha'is, but for all the peoples of the world.
You know what? Just give me one
Do you
sec.
want to go over there?
Sam, should we move over there? Because look, these guys move over there, yeah?
Yeah, cool, man.
Just move everything, please, yeah? The brothers are gonna get upset. I keep moving.
Problem is, boys, we're going to be with these guys. So should we just move maybe a little bit over there? Or maybe down there. That might be nice for your picture in terms of background.
Yeah? All right.
Okay.
So this is, remember,
Hope you're good on Final Cut Pro, bro. Oh, yeah. Okay, by who, yeah? Okay, let's go.
So,
Talking about infallibility. So, we understand that the messengers of God.
correct me if I'm wrong, it's just gonna come down to it's the process.
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
elected and it's the process,
Yeah, yeah.
and the process causes it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I've made my point, isn't it? I think
Sure,
you've
sure.
understood it as well, that I'm saying that it logically doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you a question though. In Islam today, especially in the Sunni, what is the correct interpretation in terms of which people should follow? Because at the moment, everything is so divided, even within the Muslim communities, not just within Sunni Islam, Shia Islam as well, and so on. The reason why Baha'u'llah has created this structure is so that the Baha'is won't be split off into different sects, right?
There's no sex in
There
Baha'i.
have been attempts, and they are, but the mainstream...
Kaleem, listen to yourself though.
Sure.
You're saying that Baha'u'llah has come
Sure.
because there are sects in Islam. And then I
I
asked,
haven't said because of sects in Islam. I believe that Baha'u'llah
there's a
has
point
come-
that you were making though, isn't it? You're saying that it's divided, it's splintered, there's groups. So Baha'u'llah has come to unify people, isn't it?
to unify people, but also to understand that prophecies in all religions have been fulfilled with the coming of Baha'u'llah. It's not just for the Muslims, but it's for the Hindus.
But do you see what the issue with the groups thing was? That if the issue with the groups thing is that you've admitted that, okay, Baha'u'llah had to come, and Baha'u'llah has come, and now Like there's still groups there.
Sure, there's the Baha'i faith.
But his
is
job's
that-
not done then, isn't it?
It's not done. It's only 200 years old, the faith, the religion. And we believe as Baha'is we're going through the birth pangs of a new world order. We believe that the world is disintegrating, and you can see that in the world with the amount of violence, persecution, and so on. When in reality, as Baha'is, we see that the only way towards a better world is the realization that the earth is but one country and mankind are citizens. That the essence of all religions are one. When I say essence, I say that the essence of all of it is one and the same. We say the time is different from each other. As Baha'is,
You
we
mentioned
believe-
essence, which is brilliant, and I want to take a segue from that.
Sure.